Here we go. What's up, Melanated family? How is the family doing? It's a good Saturday evening. As you can see, your brother is in a remote location. You feel me? Had to take a little getaway with the family, but even though I'm taking a getaway, it's important that I still get the work in when I see things that I need to speak about. You feel me? And also, just for everybody out there, make sure y'all travel a little bit. Make sure y'all go to I'm just realizing the importance. Well, for a while, I've been realizing the importance of getting away from like your day to day grind. You feel me? Now, this can be traveling on a plane to a nice city that you want to visit. That's always cool. But sometimes, family, it's just getting away from your house. It's just getting away from the day to day demands of your home, whatever that can be, bills, dishes, animals, whatever you got. You know what I mean? So sometimes just getting away, getting a motel with the family, wherever you guys choose, that's always a good thing. You feel me? Always a good thing to restart your engine, man. Especially if you're out here moving and shaking and trying to do things on your own, whether you're a business owner, just a hardworking employee, you're a creator. You got to find ways to create solace for yourself. You feel me? So, something I want to talk about today, something I seen the other day, and I make sure I address this, family, because we continually see police kill us on camera. We continually hear about or get information about police killing unarmed black men. You know what I mean? This is becoming a theme. But on April 4th, this is what I want to talk to y'all about today specifically, family. So thank y'all for joining me. Again, this is your brother Harrison, the Melanated Convo. Let's go. So on April 4th, a brother by the name of Patrick Lyoya, I want to make sure I say the brother's last name right. Patrick Lyoya, who is a brother from Congolese, actually, 26-year-old black man, immigrant, 26-year-old black man, immigrant from Congolese, who was pulled over on April 4th in Grand Rapids, Michigan, right? So he's pulled over for a traffic stop. Supposedly, his license plate doesn't match the vehicle or something along those lines, but he's pulled over for a traffic stop, and the brother ends up losing his life at the end of the traffic stop. The police officer actually shoots him in the back of the head. You feel me? So I learned a few things. It's some things I was aware of, but it's some things I want to share with y'all today about what I learned from watching this video, right? Because we continually see law enforcement in this country treat us a particular way, and it's only one or two ways we can begin to handle this shit. You know what I mean? And so, give me a second, family. What we're gonna do first is I want y'all to see the video. So I want y'all to see what leads up to Patrick Lyoya. Loyo. I'm sorry, he's a Congolese brother. What leads up to this brother being shot in the back of the head by this police officer? You feel me? So let's see. And this is important because on my show yesterday, I had a brother by the name of James Samuels who created an app that allows you to video record interactions with the police, interactions in public. You can send these video recordings to your family. Your family can then join the recording. You know what I mean? So that's why I was so excited about having a brother like that on my show, because incidents like this show that sometimes the main reason why um um any any information gets out there, or we even begin to march, or we even begin to get lawyers in the whole process, is because there's a video of it. You feel me? So it's always important to record. So if you haven't seen the interview yet, go to the Melanated Convo, either on YouTube, go to all the digital platforms. I interviewed the brother James Samuels, who created that app. Really good brother. We talked a lot about history, but just being aware and recording, because this cop in this incident, again, I'm talking about a young brother named Patrick Lyoya, who was killed by Grand Rapids Police Department on April 4th. The body cam, which, as we all know, when a lot of the police killings started, the body cam was supposed to be the end all be all to kind of fix some of this shit. And coincidentally, this dude's body cam, 45 seconds before he actually shot him in the back of the head, his body cam went off. You feel me? So it's important that the people around filmed. There was like 3 or 4 different angles. So take a look really quickly at what happened to the brother, then we'll talk about it. Because a part of this like a part of this process we need to understand is like just in general, like in society, right? Cops don't have a lot of violent interactions with people they are stopping for traffic, like traffic stop citations, things of this nature. The numbers say that these people aren't necessarily violent. You know what I mean? So the fact that cops are killing like 400 and some odd people each year, unarmed people, you know what I mean? Not black and white or all races, but they're killing 400 and some odd unarmed people every year. And I think a large part of that is because black people are being killed 3 to 1 compared to white people in this country as far as police interactions are concerned. And a large part of that is them not living around us. A large part of that is like the institutionalized racism. But we're gonna get into that in a minute. First, let's take a look at this video of how this brother actually lost his life. And this was on April 4th in Grand Rapids. Let me play it for y'all, family. Wait, hold on one second. Hold on one second. The video shows him being shot in the back of the head. I'm not gonna actually play that part.
Hey, stay in the car. Stay in the car.
All right, so what I want to kind of walk y'all through it. So he's pulling him over, and as you can see, he's pulling him over and he's getting out of the car. Now, I'm not sure if because the brother is from Africa, like he is an immigrant. He's 26. He's been here, I think 3 or 4 years or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But I'm not sure why he got out the car. Like we all know it's commonplace in our country for the most part. You know what I mean? Police pull you over, you sit in the driver's side, prepare your documents, prepare to have the conversation. But him jumping out of the car like this, that's a little abnormal. Like typically it's you sit in the car and wait for the ticket to come. But whatever. I don't even think this behavior warrants somebody actually dying. But let's take a look.
Nelson and Griggs.
Dude, I'm stopping you. Do you have a license? Do you have a license?
For what?
I'm stopping you. Do you have a license?
What that do?
Do you have a driver's license? Do you speak English?
Yes.
Can I see your license?
What that you want?
The plate doesn't belong on this car. Do you have a license or no?
Okay. So look, let's be completely contextual, right? So the brother is acting as if he doesn't have his license. Maybe he doesn't. Maybe the car is stolen, right? Let's say worst case scenario. This is my opinion, family. Let's say worst case scenario, the car is stolen. He doesn't have a weapon on him. He's no threat to you. He doesn't have a weapon on him. He's no threat to you. And we also need to get to a point where if you're a police officer, if your job is to protect and serve the citizens, your ability to fight, like your ability to use your hands to defend yourself, your ability to physically accost somebody if you need to, these should be damn near requirements. If you have a gun and a taser and there's a man in front of you that doesn't have either, you have the advantage regardless. You know what I mean? So the level of fear you're that's coming across, that's something that got something to do with you personally. Like that has something that's ingrained in you damn near because you have the upper hand. You have the gun, you have the taser. So let's watch a little more of this.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yeah.
Where is it at?
It's in the car.
Get it for me.
What that you want?
The plate does not belong on this car.
Amen. That be my right there. Right there.
So right now, he seems pretty calm, right? Like he seems pretty calm. He's following directions, even though he got out the car. At this point, he is following directions.
No. Stop.
Okay, so it seems like maybe he didn't have a license, right? Maybe the car was illegal, something along those lines. But here's the problem, though. He isn't a threat, meaning he doesn't have a gun. He's not a threat to the cop or anybody around. This is an issue I have with the police departments in this country. In this situation, in my opinion, family, leave him alone.
Stop.
Let him run.
Put your hands right.
Try to do that. If you can't physically make him do what you want him to do, now you're going to end up, now it's just two men fighting. And one man got a gun. So what do you think is going to end up happening? You know what I mean?
1915. You got one running. North, south.
Okay, I'm not going to show the instance there where the cop actually shoots him. Excuse me, family. Oh, sorry about that, family. But take a look, man. Let's look at that. If you have a gun and a taser, and you're in a situation where you need a citizen to stop or do something that you want them to do, you should physically be able to make them do that or allow them to go. In that situation, he's chasing a man that doesn't have a gun, a man that poses no threat to him. What are you chasing him for? Let him go. If you couldn't physically just grab him and put him on the ground and put the handcuffs on him, then let him go. He also tried to tase him. He tried to tase him twice to no avail. Like it didn't work when he tried to tase him. You see what I'm saying? This is your lack of training. This is your lack of knowing how to control the situation. And he gets him on the ground. He's trying to put the handcuffs on him. The black dude, the black gentleman is struggling with him. So he eventually takes the gun out and shoots him in the back of his head. See? So what kind of shit is that? See, in that type of instant or that type of thing, it's almost like these type of things are going to continue to happen, man. Like if this cop, because already they're not releasing his name. I think he's on paid leave. They're doing the whole routine. If you shoot an unarmed person, like any of us, if you shoot an unarmed person and you don't get severely punished for it, your perspective on that may change. I think in the back of a lot of cops' mind, they understand that they have a level of protection if they need to do something to one of us. Because we see in this video, these are just two men struggling. He may have felt the brother was about to get the best of him, but taking out his gun and shooting him in the back of the head definitely wasn't the right answer. And the fact that he was so comfortable in doing that shit. So I learned a few things, family. Or I've been a few things came to mind when seeing this type of incident, because we may not get to a point where there's legislation or there's any type of laws put in place to prevent us from getting treated like this. You see what I'm saying? We may need to face the fact that a level of unification and a level of economic cooperation may be the answer to us getting out of the turmoil that we're in now. Because I'm like all of us, I'm tired of seeing cops kill us, but it's only two ways we can turn. We can look at the system in the structural racism that we do have in America. We can look at that system and try to fight within the system to make the necessary changes to basically punish someone who kills an unarmed black person, right? How has that worked out so far? So far, from fucking slavery days to the that type of policing to now, how has that worked out so far for us? You see what I'm saying? So the only other thing we can do is turn to one another, is build an economic base with one another. So when things like this happen, we can have some mechanism of protection. Like I'm gonna keep preaching that, because depending on the powers that be to put things in place to make sure we don't get harmed, don't hold your fucking breath, family. Let's not even do. Look, if you want to play inside of the system, the political landscape that's so polluted to me, and I hate even, you know what I mean? But if you want to be involved in that system, sure, that's a part of this puzzle. You see, to put things in place to make sure we're not harmed this way. Because to me, it's simple. Like to any logical person, it's simple. If you have a white police officer who is harming us unjustly. One, I said you can be physically fit. You can put yourself in a position physically, mentally, where you can handle yourself. Another thing is, if you're white and you are policing an area that you don't live in, if you're policing a heavily populated black area, basically, that you don't live in and you've never lived around black people, this is a recipe for disaster. Cops should be asked this. I'm not sure if it's a part of their curriculum now, but it should be. They should, their superior should find out, what is your relation to people that are non-white? Like, give me some information about how you have treated or who you've been around in your life. This can give us some insight in how we can possibly help you, or just don't be a fucking cop. But something has to give. And again, I'm tired of these incidents, but we do need to discuss these things, family, because some people are quick to mention to me that as black folks, we need to not, as melanated folks, we need to not look at racism. We need to look past that and just focus on basically pulling yourself up by your bootstrap. And then these same people, when somebody black kills another black person, then they're hella tough on the black person. Oh, we need to quit killing each other. We need to get it together. Look, we can't have it both ways. Can we admit that racism is kicking our ass and we have an in-house problem with how we treat each other? Both can exist at the same time. You see? So I'm going to continue to talk about these incidents until it stops, because this is unnatural. Like, the United States kills, the police force in the United States kills people, unarmed people, more than any other nation, right? Black people are killed three times more likely. Unarmed black person is 3 times more likely to get killed by a white person or another person in this country. So it seems like we're the primary threat. You see what I'm saying? So what do? You feel me? Now, this brother, if you just joining me, this brother's name is Patrick Lyoya. He is a brother from Congolese, 26-year-old black man who was killed by police in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I just played a video. He basically pulled him over. The plates didn't match the vehicle. The brother got out. He did seem kind of suspicious. The brother got out of the vehicle. He seemed kind of suspicious. He took off running when the cop asked him for his license. See? So this is what the brother did wrong, possibly, but none of this should cause you to lose your life. See, so we're talking about two things. Running from a cop. So what? You're running without a gun. Who are you a threat to? You see? Who was he actually a threat to? Himself? Someone else? Not at all. And if you're not a cop who's physically fit enough to accost somebody or put someone in a chokehold and put them in handcuffs, then let them go. Then the taser makes sense. The taser isn't deadly. It'll knock you off your rocker, put you in a position where the cop can then handcuff you, do whatever he need to do. You couldn't tase him. You tried to tase him twice and you missed. This was a black man that was stronger than you. And now the fear kicked in. See? Now the fear kicked in. So putting these type of individuals in our community with pistols on their hip, it's a recipe for disaster. It always has been. It's going to continue to be. See? So I'm not relying on politicians or anybody outside of our community to fix these kind of problems. They kill us too easily. They continue to get off. It's the same routine. The police unions in the United States are extremely powerful. They take a lot of their funds and put towards different politicians to make sure shit happens. This is a way bigger game than we even know exists. So look, if we're not ready to jump in that game and pull our money together and put ourselves in a situation where we can demand things, then we need to come together another way. Something has to give, basically. But just complaining about it, marching about it, that's not gonna cut it. The last thing I want to say before I get off, family, because like I said, I'm on a little vacation with my family. It was just tugging at me, like seeing the video of that brother dying. So I had to speak on it, right? The next thing I've seen online and just in general, like being someone who does what I do, and I'm always watching and listening to what goes on in our community. This is a message to every brother and sister that's from the motherland. Like, if you from Africa and you came here on a visa, you came here to visit, however your family got here, y'all need to understand that on this soil, we got the same fucking enemy. Now, I understand what they told you about us. I understand what they told you about us. They do the conquer and divide shit. I know some African people come to this country and they get kind of a talking to about who to stay away from, and African Americans, quote unquote, may be the primary person on that list. I understand that, right? But that's all bullshit. Understand that's all bullshit, and I'm not gonna act like I haven't seen African brothers who look down on us because they feel we've been here longer, so we should be further ahead, not factoring in they left the place they're from. Like, they didn't stay and make the place they were from better. They actually left. We can't leave. Like, there's nowhere we can go. You see what I'm saying? So it's an unfair argument, and it really should be a commonality that you're trying to find, because we all want some African shit. But that don't be the case all the time. So African brothers and sisters, y'all need to realize this is a prime example. When you get pulled over by a cop, they not checking to see what country you from. You black, you black, you black. We all look alike to them. You see? Because I see a lot of infighting between black people for different reasons. But instances like this should make you see, stop all that shit. None of that really matters. They not checking your ID to see what country you come from, where your family from, none of that shit. You are the threat. This young African brother, from what I was reading, Congolese, is going through some turmoil. So he had to like flee, quote unquote, from a war-torn country to come here. Well, all of our African brothers and sisters got to realize we at war over here too. The black man and woman is at war over here too. And it would behoove your ass to figure out a way to align yourself with us so we can rid ourselves of the problem both of us got. Because that's what we got to realize. You can talk about if an African person got some bad shit to say about an African American or a melanated person that live in America, whatever. If a black person here got something to say about somebody, whatever, we all at the bottom of a slave ship arguing about what kind of shoes we got on. What the fuck? None of that shit matters at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So RIP to this young brother, Patrick Lyoya. I hate to see this happen to a young man. He's 26 years old, still have his life in front of him. And family, we need to realize, like, I know many people will see this video and say he shouldn't have ran. He shouldn't have ran. He could have been a threat, blah, blah, blah. This isn't reality. In reality, police officers, their interactions with people they're giving a ticket to, like for traffic stops, those interactions rarely end in violence. The percentages is extremely small. So why are they ending in violence so much then? What's actually happening to make these incidents end in violence? Well, it has to be the temperament of the police officer. It has to be the interaction with the actual person that the police officer has in front of him. You know what I mean? All these different factors, which this country understands how to fix it. If they wanted to fix police brutality, they can fix it overnight. They can put things in place to punish officers so goddamn bad he wouldn't think twice about shooting nobody. They could, but they won't. They probably never will. So what the fuck are we going to do? Continue to infight, continue to fight because you may have an education. Yeah, you come from Africa and you have a hell of an education. But again, on this soil, you're still looked at the same way. I know some white folks will tell you that's not true. I know you feel since you pulled yourself up by your bootstraps or you have white friends that you're somehow in some kind of in crowd, but that's not the case. You see what I'm saying? Like people who come from Africa, and I've met some who are cool, but for the most part, they need to get off that bullshit. Like we one and the same. Immigrants, like one of the primary things, and shout out to my brother Tariq Nasheed. He says this a lot, but this is some real shit. Immigrants need to be careful. Like all of us have had to deal with bouts with white supremacy. Like that's the primary enemy for all of us. But immigrants need to be careful because sometimes they come here and they speak to us specifically, like the marginalized people in this country. They speak to us specifically like how far we should have came along and what we should have done in our situation here in America. But that's hypocritical because you left somewhere. Do you understand that? Like you come here for a better life. You leave a place that was battling their own structural racism and white supremacy. You come here for a better life. You didn't stay there and try to figure it out, which is cool. Like, I don't have no problem with that. Just don't come here and talk shit about us. Just don't come here and call us akatas and all of these negative terms for Black people who live in America, because honestly, we don't give it up like that for nobody. Growing up, we would say African booty scratcher and this kind of shit, but we didn't have no vitriol for really any other race of people, except for white people sometimes because of the shit they did to us. But we growing up, we never had no hate or any animus for African brothers and sisters. Now, being kids and being stupid, we did do the African booty scratcher shit and all that, but never nothing real, never nothing based on who they were like that. You know what I mean? So this is just a message for all African brothers and sisters, man. We are on the same team, whether you want to be or not. You see? And I know for some immigrants who come here, it's a little easier for them to get on a coon train where they can avoid racism and make and create a world that doesn't involve anything involving race. Well, that's a fallacy if you're Black. And I'll continue to say this, but I would hate to see something happen to somebody in your family before you decide you need to stand up for your people, before you decide you need to attempt to unify, before not messing with somebody Black. Like, all this shit don't make no sense, because this cop, his name hasn't been released yet, but the cop who shot our 26-year-old brother, Patrick Lyoya, in Grand Rapids, Michigan, the cop's name hasn't been released yet. Like I said, he's on paid leave. They're probably going to walk him through the whole process where he gets the most minimum sentence in punishment possible, because quote unquote his job is hard. And I think in Grand Rapids, Michigan, if you feel any threat, you can shoot to kill. All this is dangerous rhetoric. You see what I'm saying? So let me get out of here, man. Like I said, I'm on vacation with the fam. RIP to that brother, man. 26-year-old brother who, man, and just one last thing. I've seen so many videos in this country of non-Black people, white men specifically, jump out on a police officer and try to fight him, jump out and talk to him, jump out and run, like all of this shit. I've seen several instances where this happens, where other groups of people, and they don't end up dead. So we need to realize this is a Black thing. Some of my supporters and people who rock with me, who say, hey, man, back up off the racism shit. Hey, man, focus more on what we do to each other. You got to tackle both. You got to tackle both. If there's a goddamn bully in the room, you can't ignore him. He'll keep punching you in your face. You can try to ignore him, get a nice house, get a nice car, get away from the people you thought was causing all these goddamn problems. But this shit can be you at any time. So why not just rock like that every day? Like, you're part of one big community. At any time you could be harmed. You need to protect the ones around you who look like you. At any given moment, you may need to do that. You see what I'm saying? So this is your brother Harrison, man. This is the Melanated Convo again. RIP to that brother. Sad to see something like that happen to another one of our young brothers, and it's been continuing to happen. But there's something we can do about it. There's something collectively we can do, and we all need to start taking initiative when it comes to our community work, when it comes to unifying, when it comes to supporting Black businesses, anything we can do to further the movement. Like everybody worried about Will Smith and Jada Pinkett, this brother, I'm gonna give it a few days. I'm gonna see how many of those same people are outraged about what happened to him and talk about him and his life and what we can do, opposed to all this gossip and celebrity shit, which really means nothing when it comes down to it. You see? But they give us these distractions that seems like things that are more important, but things that are really going under the radar because everybody ain't talking about it. You ain't talking about it. That's a bad look, fam. That's a bad look, fam. You feel me? So this is your brother Harrison, man. Melanated Convo. Subscribe to the Melanated Convo on YouTube. Continue to go to the digital platforms. If you don't like watching videos, you can go to Overcast, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, all of these places you can find the Melanated Convo podcast. I appreciate everybody who reach out to me about specific videos, people who reach out to me to make specific videos. I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate what I do. This is your brother Harrison, Melanated Convo. I'm out.